prices down far more effectively. Comrade Karanja, His Excellency says you are unbalanced.
I'm a man in search of man. I was never in search of God.
My guest tonight describes himself as a simple Buddhist monk, Tenzin Gyatso. To millions of his followers, he is Holy Lord, gentle glory, eloquent, learned, defender of the faith, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. Your Holiness, in awarding the Nobel Peace Prize to you, the committee had identified three primary areas of your work in the areas of nonviolence, in promoting secularism, and the environment. What is it that prompts a preeminent Buddhist leader like you to go and pray in a mosque, in a temple, in a synagogue, in a gurdwara, in places of worship of different faiths?
I do believe all the major world religions, inspired different philosophy, all carry the more or less the same message. That is, be a good human being, warm-hearted person. And is all, you see, carry the message of love, compassion, and forgiveness. And then secondly, in the past as well as even today, is in the name of religion, more divisions, and also as a conflict, including bloodshed. It also happens. So that is really unfortunate. Then another, you see, the thing is that today, the inspired material development, such as a highly development, still is a humanity is facing is a certain crisis, certain problem, particularly those areas where is the material facility is fully developed, yet some kind of mental unrest or the moral crisis in the society as a whole is they're facing. So this shows clearly as a human being, we need, beside money or beside wealth, we need some kind of inner good quality. With that, self-discipline will come. So that's something really is necessary. So therefore, this shows it is wrong to seek answer for all problem from external means. I think that kind of attitude I feel is wrong. Of course, the material development is necessary.
So what can form the basis for this harmony between religions?
When I was in Tibet, no contact with other religious tradition. At that time, my feeling is a little bit different. Now, today, as a result of the many occasions meeting with people from different religious traditions, and particularly meeting with those genuine practitioners, such as the late Thomas Merton, and also the Mother Teresa, and some other more, who really, when I talk and exchange their deeper sort of experiences, spiritual experiences, then really, it opens my eye towards these religious traditions. So I convince fully, these different religious traditions have the more or less the same potential to produce good human beings. So therefore, there are common things, and also there is through that way you can enrich one's own tradition. So it is very, very useful to work together, come closely.
You're a man of religion, you're a man of peace, and somehow religion and peace don't always seem to go together. There has been so much violence in the name of religion, and frequently because of the interface of religion and politics. What for you is the relationship between religion and politics?
I believe, after all, what is the politics? I think it's a politics, not necessarily cheating or bullying or something. No, I think a certain kind of I don't know precise meaning of politics, I don't know, but looks, generally speaking, of course, another human activities or another instrument to serve society or the community or the nation. So like any other human action, itself is nothing wrong. It's much depend on the person's motivation or the behavior who conduct in this field. Now, like even religion, if you see the motivation is not, not genuine, then religion also becomes a dirty religion. If you see the other case, other hand, if you see the person who deal politics with sincere motivation, that also is a spiritual practice. So to me, every human action they conducted by sincere, honest motivation, then all are can be considered spiritual activities. So no conflict. Every human action can be a constructive, can be a kind of spiritual practice or spiritual action. That's my feeling. But here you see as is a political institution and religious institution, perhaps I think maybe you see better separate.
You know, there is seemingly a conflict between religion and empiricism, or between religion and the scientific method. And we think that we should go into areas of religion and philosophy when we're not able to answer life's questions through logic and reason. So what room does logic and reason and the scientific method have in religious practice?
Religions in general, I think it's difficult to say. I don't know. I have no authorities to say.
What about in your practice?
Now you see the Buddhism, as far as Buddhism is concerned, now generally, I described usually, you see, among the world, different major world religions, usually I divided into two groups. One group, according to my simple English, I usually call godly religions. Another thing is godless religions. That means those religions who accept Creator, God as a Creator. Then you see, other is the group, those who believe there is no Creator, but ultimately oneself as a Creator. So you see two groups. So now Buddhism, Buddhism has a way of thinking. I think it's much based on causality, law of causality, cause and effect. No, as the supreme or absolute is a creator. Everything is depend on causes and conditions. And of course, the Buddhists do believe the ultimate is the causes, the mind. And particularly in Mahayana is a system. Now, for example, Buddha himself is made clear that my disciple should not accept my word out of respect or faith. My followers should carry experiment and investigation about my word, about my teaching. If you convince through your own experience, your own experiment, something, find truth there, then you accept. So that I think the scientific way of approach and this kind of Buddhist way of approach, I think there are similarities. So therefore, as far as Buddhism is concerned, I think there can meeting ground, or yes, meeting ground. Now, for example, I think the last a few years, I had some occasion, several occasions, meeting with scientists, mainly in the field of psychology and cosmology and neurobiology, and also the subatomic physics, like quantum theory, these things. Up to now, the science, I think, is much deal with those things, those subjects which can calculate, which can measure, can take measurement. In a Buddhist like mind, you cannot take measure. And also certain deeper human experience, which commonly is not not known. So sometimes we call certain experience beyond description. That also is there. So there are, but you see, generally, as I mentioned earlier, you see, the law of causality. That I think on that level, I think science and Buddhists can go.
You're regarded as a reincarnation of Avalokiteshvara, as the Buddha aspect of compassion. How do you, with your sort of pursuit of the scientific method and the logical analysis and rationality, how do you reconcile this? How do you accept this? Are you comfortable with this?
Oh, no problem. There's no problem. I think as a Buddhist, or I think a Buddhist who study Buddhist logic or Buddhist philosophy, if you see this through science, if you see certain things, you see they proved does not exist. Now, for example, the next life, suppose, you see thoroughly through thorough investigation, a scientific way, and prove 100% do not exist, then Buddhists, theoretically speaking, you have to accept. But you see here, you see the mere, do not finding and prove not exist, and big differences. You see certain things not yet find. Now, from the Buddhist viewpoint, also, you see everything from the Madhyamika philosophy, everything cannot find. This does not mean do not exist, but it exists, but cannot find, because it depends on many factors.
Are you conscious? Are you aware that you are a reincarnation of Avalokiteshvara?
Of course. Avalokiteshvara. Oh, no. That's, I think, the little bit, I think, exaggeration. Of course, you see the previous, I think, the first, I believe, is the first Dalai Lama, second Dalai Lama, I think up to 7th Dalai Lama. There was a clear sort of indication, the reincarnation of Avalokiteshvara, especially the first, second, these two. My own case, I do not believe I am even if I am the same person of the 13th Dalai Lama. But I do feel, and I do, you see, have some reasons that I have, you see, special relations with 5th Dalai Lama and the 13th Dalai Lama. So, you know, the reincarnation, there is a different type of reincarnation. Some cases, there is the same person or same being. Some cases, not the same being, but it's someone else is come his or her as a place. Some cases is come as a representative. So therefore, if you ask me whether I am a reincarnation of Dalai Lama, my answer, yes. But in the sense, I came at Dalai Lama's place to succeed the previous Dalai Lama, particularly the 13th Dalai Lama's work. Fulfill his work. But this does not mean, but then you see, if you ask whether I am the reincarnation of the being of 13th Dalai Lama, then my answer, no.
Do you know that for sure? Through your
not very sure, not very sure, but I guess, I feel.
Do you think about your own reincarnation in the next life?
Oh, that's, of course, they say, one is Shantadeva's verse. As long as space remains, as long as suffering of sentient beings remain, I will remain in order to serve, in order to, yes, use for them. that is verses really, you see, gives me inner strength and hope and to find purpose of my being. So definitely, is my reincarnation, wherever is the some is the benefit, some is the usefulness there, I'm ready. You see, I'm quite sure I will take the rebirth on such a place. Then what form, what kind of the name, I don't know. That's I don't know. But regarding the Dalai Lama, that's a different matter. Now you know the institution of Dalai Lama. I really feel at a certain time that this institution is developed. Now at a certain situation, this institution may not remain, may not benefit. And then this institution no reason to keep. So this is open, open thing. But as far as my own rebirth is concerned, of course, till Buddhahood, I believe firmly. Till Buddhahood is my rebirth always there. Even after you reach Buddhahood, some kind of different manifestations will continue, as that verses say. That's the Buddhist has a belief, or Buddhist has a thinking. It's really, I feel these kind of teaching or these kind of thinking is really sustain your optimism, your will, your determination. It's very useful.
Your Holiness, as a religious leader, your contribution to the secular dialogue has been your philosophy of universal responsibility. In fact, the Nobel Committee also recommended this philosophy. What is a philosophy of universal responsibility?
That's firstly, today's the world is such, particularly in the economy field and also the environment, the questions, and many other fields. The world now heavily depend on one another. So I think sometimes I really feel the concept of we and they, I think now is out of date. Now we should consider whole world as we or us. But the reality such kind of thing, but human mental attitude still remain much behind. We do, I think they due to I think lack of awareness, lack of analytical. I may call it the analytical meditation. We still believe, yes, my own future is something independence or something separate rest of the people's interest, or my family level or my as a nation or my continent. People do feel this is something isolated or something separate. So I believe there's many problems actually happen due to that kind of narrow-mindedness or short-sightedness. So the remedy, we must catch up that reality. Human attitude must develop or must change, must catch the reality. So we need some kind of sense of global responsibility, a sense of universal responsibility. With that, we can solve many man-made problems, at least minimize. I think the logic, quite simple logic, my interest very much depends on others' interest. Unless I take care, others' interest, I will not get benefit. If I think only my own interest and ignore others' interest, ultimately I will lose. I will suffer. If you take more care about others' right, others' interest, ultimately you get benefit.
Why is that?
Quite simple. I believe now today 5.7 billion of humanity. I think in reality the majority of them I do not think genuine as a believer. Of course, the people do say I belong my family is belong this religion or that religion, we say that. But in reality, I think in their daily life, they in real sense, are not necessarily, I think, believer. So you see, the majority are non-believer. And at the same time, the majority are very important, is a part of the humanity. And then another is my thinking or my belief. The religion, when we born, that child, no faith, although the parent may carry some ritual sort of the ceremony or something, but the child no feeling, no appreciation. So the child mind is free from any faith, and child survive. But human affection is concerned, the mother's physical touch or giving milk, the child very much appreciate. This very strong feeling is there, appreciation of human affection there. Without that, child cannot survive. So therefore, from the birth, I believe the humanity not free from human affection.
So is that the basis of your secular spirituality?
That's right, that's right. You see, I believe the basic human nature is gentleness. Gentleness based on that kind of human affection. Even our physical structure, if our mind remain, calm, more compassionate, more open-minded, this physical condition remain better. If it's constantly frustration or anger, agitative things, hatred, these things constantly happen in our mind, then eventually ruin our health. So this shows the very nature of this body, very much I think they friendly or go well with the peace of mind, with compassionate mind, not agitated mind. So the basic human nature, I believe, is gentleness or the affectionate. So therefore, it is much better to carry our work according to that nature. So there is possibility to develop. And I think every human being, there is seed of that human affection. We experienced from the birth. But what went wrong is, I feel, the growing up one, when we grown up, we emphasize more on brain side. They neglect intellectual on this side. We neglect about basic human, that is a quality. So eventually some kind of brain overwhelmed, that nature. So now today, I think because of that, we are facing extra problem. So now I think this century we adopted various methods, mainly relying on missions or matters. Now time itself now showing limitation. So I think time has come. Now we have to return the basic human, the quality of basic human nature. So that means, while we are promoting our intellectual or the knowledge side, the basic human good quality must increase, must have every care, take every care, so that human brain and human good heart can go balance. That's, I think, that's my the meaning of secular ethics.
You embody that possibility for us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.